So this 1 ml to 10 micrograms does not apply below 30 ml. Oh, you mean to say that. But the question is, okay, 100 micrograms of anti-RHD will do how much? So by that, what do you want to say then? 4 ml will take care of, according to our calculation, the nearest is 5 ml you want to say. Okay. But maybe if pure mathematics is taken into consideration, answer becomes B, but practically giving in the hospital is taken into consideration, C becomes the answer. Okay, let us hope, pray the God that what the examiner thought about while framing the question. Okay. Toxic shock syndrome, we see, what we don't see, I think we see all these four. Anybody have a choice to argue any of the options other than out of these four? I say hyperthermia, fever is seen. Mucosal involvement is very much a seen. Even if it is minor, it is there. Major criteria was there in the question frame. Okay, then that becomes the answer, because I was not sure what was there in the criteria that were basically given. Major or minor was not given. Okay, accepted. So now let's go to the next question. Fogarty's catheter is fundamentally for the arterial embolectomy, not the venous emboli, as all of you know. Then venous thrombosis, does it lodge in lungs or in the heart? Because pulmonary artery is towards the lungs, but it comes from the ventricle, right ventricle. So, but it will finally go and lodge in the pulmonary vessels, which is a part of the lung, pulmonary system. Okay, so I think by that logic, lung should be the answer. Okay. Now, polyarteritis nodosa, never the aneurysms will involve the lung. They involve the kidneys, they involve heart, liver, pancreas, testis, skeletal muscles, CNS and skin, but not the lungs. Why? Because polyarteritis nodosa predominantly involves small sized or the medium sized arteries, whereas pulmonary artery does not come under that group. Probably that is the reason lung is never or seldom involved in polyarteritis nodosa, unless you want to make it a case study. You can make case studies in MD. My rare and only case, unlike my entrance, first case of lung involvement in PAN you may present. Otherwise, generally it does not involve. Now, this is another traditional question that frontal, maxillary and ethmoid, they have an opening into the middle meatus is a very well known fact, whereas the sphenoid will be opening into sphenoethmoidal recess. Where do you have the Woodruff's plexus? It is the posterior end of the middle turbinate is the classical location. Posterior end of? Who said? No, middle is given, inferior is given, then it is actually found in the posterior end of, that's what anatomy books say. Okay, but at least I still believe it is middle turbinate's posterior end, but anyway we'll check that fact. Ligament of Wiggert, have you heard of this ligament? Bouncer, so no regrets about it. Is it an old question? Stone question. Okay, so you need to remember that in young patients lens are adherent to the vitreous by the ligament of Wiggert is what we need to basically remember. Now, if there is an umbilical discharge in the child, does not the patent urachus lead to the development of an umbilical discharge? It also, but most commonly it is the patent vitalointestinal duct is the most common cause. Second most common cause is umbilical granuloma. Third is umbilical sinus, then patent urachus. Then if there is any osteomyelitis of the ischium, that also can lead to the discharge through the umbilicus, is what you have to fundamentally remember. HBH disease, 3 alpha genes deletion is HBH. I think you all agree with that fact. And it leads to anemia. We are not saying that it leads to polycythemia. Then it is common in Africa, accepted. Yes. What was the? It is due to the instability of? Yes, obviously, because HBH is a relatively unstable hemoglobin, accepted. So is it any such suprametal staining concept is there? But I can find the three are the true statements, leaving the fourth as the Agastya's Bhrata, unknown, anonymous. So I think that would be the truth, that suprametal staining is not a concept applicable here. But suprametal staining is still a query. Okay, we will find from our pathology friends. But the three options are true. Africa more predominance because of a survival advantage, just like sickle cell anemia. And also the remaining two are the true statements. Very good. Then nasopharyngeal carcinoma is a squamous cell, not an adenocarcinoma, as all of you know. Epstein-Barr virus can cause Southeast Asia. It is found in India. And deafness, bleeding through nose and neck mass is the most common presenting feature. Neck mass in the case of the nasopharyngeal carcinoma. Now what causes the Guillain-Barré syndrome? It can be Campylobacter jejuni, Haemophilus influenzae, Mycoplasma, Borrelia burgdorferi, but not Legionella, which becomes the answer in this given case. Then what is Calymatobacter granulomatous? It is a gram-negative, non-motile rod is what need to be remembered. Now what will aluminium cause, doctor? The rule is magnesium causes diarrhea, aluminium causes constipation is a very well known fact. What were the other answers? Even if, calcium phosphate is also there. Calcium phosphate, does it lead to constipation? Carbonate. But generally, the only person, I read this in the books, I too read this in the books, don't worry. But commonly I ask my patients, 500 milligrams of shell call. When you write, do you have any constipation? Then immediately patient will say, never I had, doctor. But why are you asking? He will ask once more. Then I say that no other reason. I am just doing a epidemiological calculation after asking 1,000 people, even if one says. But in a good number of patients, I didn't find constipation. But it is known fact that calcium supplementation can lead. But definitely the truth is, aluminium is a known causative agent leading to the development of constipation. Now hypoglycemia can be caused by sulfonylureas, true, and insulin, option answer is D, not C, and adrenal insufficiency. Does renal failure lead to hypoglycemia per se? Actually in renal failure what happens to the insulin clearance? Insulin clearance become decreased. So if you take any renal failure patient who was earlier on insulin, what happens to his insulin requirement? Will it increase or will it decrease, doctor? It will decrease. Insulin requirement will decrease the moment your diabetic nephropathy patient enters into the renal failure scenario, his insulin requirement will decrease. So sulfonylureas are known, insulin is known, and adrenal insufficiency is also a known cause of the hypoglycemia is what need to be remembered. Now in neonates of diabetic mothers, how many answered hypercalcemia? Nobody, good. Hypo, not hypercalcemia is being found as a complication, but we definitely have hypomagnesemia, iron abnormalities, hypoglycemia, hyperviscosity with polycythemia, respiratory distress. They are all the complications in the newborn of a diabetic mother is what need to be remembered. Hemorrhagic cystitis is caused by papovavirus, influenza, and adenovirus and E. coli. Any of them can be responsible. Where do you have Antony A and Antony B bodies? It's a very traditional question. We find it in the schwannoma, the Antony A and Antony B. What is the difference between the two, doctor? It's very simple. It is as much a difference between a red rose and white rose. And how dense are the petals is the question. The cells may be densely packed, they may be loosely packed. Accordingly, they create two different patterns which are called Antony A and Antony B. And this kind of patterning of the cells which are palisading is a feature of the schwannoma is what need to be basically remembered. You already completed, doctor? More than 10? Because whenever we used to write exam paper like this, one of our friends used to say, please do it before 5 o'clock. If there are more than 50 mistakes, I think we don't miss the first show movie. So that's the reason I like to ask you how many mistakes don't regret. Maybe our key is only a fictitious key, examiner will have a definite key because he is the Supreme Court, right? Anyway, Mallory's Hyline typically is seen in Wilson's, alcoholic cirrhosis, and also in primary biliary cirrhosis. In all these scenarios we find the Mallory's Hyline. We don't find a polysaccharide capsule with Bacillus anthrax because it has got a poly-D-glutamate polypeptide capsule rather than a polysaccharide capsule. Impact is the effect of the health program in the improvement of the health of the community is basically called as the impact. Accordingly we call reach, effectiveness, adoption, implementation and maintenance. Re-aim it is called as, which are all the ingredients to assess the impact of a given national health program on the true health of the people. Now for the toxoplasmosis in pregnancy, spiromycin, rhabdomycin is considered to be the treatment of choice. Amyloidosis AL, everything is seen but not what? Is it the same question? Fundamentally AL amyloidosis is called as systemic or not? There is one AA type of amyloidosis and AL type of amyloidosis which are the part of the systemic amyloidosis. In all the systemic amyloidosis there is an involvement of GIT with macroglossia. So macroglossia is seen. Then there is a fragility of the vessels. So that is the reason there is a skin purpura which is sustained with even a mild force is seen. Raccoon's eye, otherwise periorbital ecchymosis is also a known feature of the amyloidosis. Then coming to the fingernail dystrophy, it is also a feature of primary systemic amyloidosis AL. I don't know what is more and less frequent is there in the mind of the examiner. You have any better reference, anybody? No box in Harrison says something I would like to know from you. Huh?